Okay, you're on, and I'm going to show content now. Go.
Hello, we are Group MS2. I am Cadet Malusnik, and I am the president of this operation. This is Cadet Spangler.
I was the FAA.
This is Cadet Thine.
I'm the dead pilot.
Cadet Todd.
The crash scene investigator.
And Cadet Buell.
Medical reporter.
Okay. Our plane that we investigated was a Varga Kachina. It crashed on 10th of October 1993 in a dry lake bed. There you go, not bread. In Alvord, Oregon. This is the plane that we investigated. That's what one looks like.
The plane was modified. It was a single seater.
Okay.
So that was actually not to scale.
So yeah, can you talk about that?
In the back, the seat was taken out so he could store more, and obviously have a propeller. And that's pretty much what he modified to it, as you can from the outside look.
So it was nothing external?
No, it's
Right,
not.
there's just okay. Just
Okay. Click on that. Okay. Come down. Airport, no. No, go. Just take your pills. Okay, so the plane took off from here at the Burns Merkel Airport. Okay, zoom out. Okay. And then go southeast. Try to get downward. More. Just zoom. That's in.
that's it.
Okay, keep going down. Down one. You go. Zoom.
Zoom out.
That's it. Come on. Okay, well, the plane crashed over here in this dry lake bed, or just about in this vicinity, in this kind of desert cavern, I guess you could say, of sand. Okay.
Right. The cause of the crash was bad fuel, and to cause bad fuel, it would have to have been exposed to sunlight, and the tank would have to have been open at the time.
The pilot had a class 3 medical. He was diagnosed with coronary artery disease in 1990. He had to take blood thinners, and he was also intoxicated with blood thinners while in flight. And after the crash, he was decapitated from the plane.
Alright, the engine, it was a one-engine plane, and it was built by Avco Lycoming. It was capable of 150 horsepower. Its designation was an ON320 A2C, it's a Class 4 engine. It could go 525 miles on a full tank, and it had 2 prop.
His name was Thomas Glum, and he lived at 1313 East 9th Street in Vancouver, Washington. He was 53 years old. His date of birth was 12/21/39. He only had 302 hours flying, and
That's total, correct?
Yeah, that's total flying. And on his aircraft, which was the plane he was flying, was his private plane, and he only had 42 hours flying it. So he's not really experienced pilot, and he also had coronary artery disease, which we think might have affected it.
The aircraft was a 1976 Varga Kachina 2150A SN VAC 6376. The landing gear was tricycle, which means it had 2 wheels in the back, 1 wheels in the front, and they were fixed. The engine was a O320 A2C, 150 horsepower. The registered owner was the pilot, Thomas Glum, and it could pull 4.2 Gs. The pilot was decapitated on impact because the impact was at such a steep angle that the force, the seatbelt crushed him and sent him over the edge. The pilot was intoxicated while operating the aircraft due to the blood thinners that he took for his coronary artery disease. And the plane hit the ground, nose down, like I just said, and the tail scorpioned over. And the wings came in at an angle because of the force of the impact. The witnesses say, here, I'll just read this. Some witnesses at the fly-in reported that the airplane had just taken off, while others stated that the airplane had made a few low passes over the airstrip. During the last pass, all of the witnesses stated that the airplane was traveling at a high speed rate of approximately 100 miles per hour and at a low level. When it suddenly pulled nearly straight up and attained an altitude of several hundred feet, the witnesses stated that it kept climbing at a high angle of attack until it seemed to stop climbing. The nose of the airplane then dropped and the altitude of the airplane momentarily leveled off horizontal to the ground. The nose of the airplane then dropped near the vertical of the horizon and the airplane spun to the left. The airplane collided with the terrain nose down at a nose down attitude. One witness reported that the engine was at idle power during the descent, while others reported that it was wide open, which we think it means it was on and full blast.
Cause of the crash was it contained bad fuel that was injected into the plane, leaving the plane inoperational for flight.
The cause of death was the pilot was decapitated from the torso and landed 5 feet from the plane with just about a headset on.
And that is the picture of the headset that he was wearing with a foot for comparison, precise comparison. Leaving the plane, and this is the plane we investigated. You can see the crumpling of the nose and the engine and how it's almost basically in the seat. And then you can also kind of see how there's no second seat, which shows that he took it off. And you can also see that the tail is not on because it went straight over into this bush behind that man. It's another picture. It shows us the debris, the crumpling of the engine, and another angle.
And this right here, hold on,
Oh, my bad.
this right here is the canopy of the top of the plane. And it's kind of hard to see with the sun glare, but the seat's just about right here. It's on windshield.
It's right here, and then that's the engine, which goes in. That is the end of our presentation. Cadet Fine.
What?
Reenactment. Okay, so Cadet Fine is going to reenact the crash as if he were the pilot, Thomas E. Glove.
Right there, just taking his blood thinners.
Yeah, fly out. Go fly. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So do you want me to read the findings? I'll just read.
Don't read them all.
Our recommendations is to make sure the pilot could not be affected by the medication that he was taking while in flight. Make sure the fuel is not exposed to the sun, which caused it to not fly properly, and let the plane run for a good 15 minutes to ensure everything is working properly and that the engine is running smoothly. And make sure the fuel cap is secured safely and properly onto the fuel tank. Findings. This is just the crash findings. Plane's wings yawed inward into the ground due to the impact. The engine was collapsed in the cockpit. Half the pilot was located 5 feet from the crash site. Tail of the plane scorpioned over. It was privately owned. It was, modified from a double seat to a single. Nose fell at a high angle into the ground. Oh yeah, the plane's Ross numbers N5074V. It was a 1976 Barca Cucina. There was bad fuel, and the engine was in the cockpit due to the crash. But some of the pilot's personal findings that he was diagnosed with coronary artery disease, I believe, at age 50. 50? That's correct. And he was told he only had a few years to live, so he may have been depressed. And the one cause that we found is the one cause we found for the crash was the bad fuel. That if he, the one thing that that wouldn't have happened with the crash wouldn't have happened is if he didn't kind of put bad fuel in the plane.
Why did he put bad fuel in the plane?
Well, he didn't put bad. It became bad when he put it in the plane. He didn't close the tank.
It was
properly.
good going in.
It was good going in, and then
But
it
he
got,
left the cap open.
He left the cap open, which
And leaving the cap open made the fuel go bad.
Because it was exposed to the
sun.
earthly materials.
Okay. All right. All right. Any round of applause, guys.
I have a question.
Hold on.
I have a
She has her
question.
line up first. Go ahead. Questions?
I'm cadet level and I have a question.
Stand up.
I'm cadet level and I have a question. Was he the one who put the fuel in the plane, or was someone else the one that put the fuel in the plane?
Someone else put the fuel in the plane.
I'm Cadet Reed.
Oh, look at that, Reed.
Serious, was he decapitated or was he severed at the waist? That wasn't both. Head was cut off and.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
I got Chris. Okay. My name's Cadet Hoffman.
Hello, Cadet
and,
Hoffman.
you guys have, okay, it was a well put together presentation. One thing I did notice is that you guys were doing literally what you're doing right now. All of you. Except for Fuel and you. And then I told you. But yeah, just next time don't keep your hands in your pockets so much. Yeah.
I'm Cadet Van Ruben, and another thing is don't cross over everybody, and you also watch in front of the screen a lot. It's harder to see. And you also sit on the line.
Cadet Romulus, and you guys did say a lot, and you guys pretty much stayed to the screen and very looked at everyone else. But besides that, you guys did really good. So, good job, everyone.
Cadet Johnston, overall your presentation was really good and I really liked it. For the assumption of Todd mostly, but be more enthusiastic during your presentations, like know what you're talking about and be more like energetic about it, like you know what you're doing. Okay? Well, good job.
Oh, another thing. Cadet Hoffman, when you had that long witness report, instead of reading it completely word for word, you could have summarized it. Would have made it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your criticism.
Yes.
Sir, what do you want to do?
Okay, so you guys have done the presentation, your report. You gave me a copy of the report, right?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you pull the copy of the report and show it so we have it on the video, okay?
I
Or you already
We
did?
did, sir.
Got it. All right, round of applause. Thank you very much.